In this video, I'm going to show you how to play a Piano Montuno and Tumbao together. Hey, it's Tobey here from jazzmental.com. Thanks for joining me. This is an additional video on top of one of the Montuno videos we've already posted here on the channel, which is quite popular. So I decided to do another one. In this video, it's going to get a little more complicated. We're going to do the Piano Montuno rhythm in the right hand, and in the left hand, we're going to play a Tumbao, which is essentially a salsa bass line. It's very syncopated, and getting the two hands together is not the easiest thing, but I do have some strategies for you. So stick around till the end because there's a few things I'm going to do. I'm going to walk you through the entire tutorial on how to put those two hands together. And then I'm going to play a solo piano performance based on a jazz standard, Softly as in a Morning Sunrise. And then after that, I'll post a link to the sheet music that we're using in this tutorial. You can download that sheet music. It's absolutely free to do so. And it will help you immensely on putting the two hands together because I've really written it out and I show you in the tutorial how to line things up with the two hands and get those syncopated rhythms and be very authentic. Let's get started. In our last video, we got to the point where we put both hands together, but essentially both hands were playing the same Montuno. It sounded something like this. In this video, we're going to focus more on a simpler Montuno and a simpler chord pattern and add the bass line, which is the Tumbao. That's basically what Tumbao means. It's the bass line in Salsa Montuno. All right, let's take a look at the sheet music. The first thing we're going to do is tackle the simpler right hand. So you can see the chord progression is simply C minor or 1 here to 2 to 5, which is G7, back to 1. Okay. So the right hand is basically playing that Montuno pattern where there's a quarter note, 2 eighth notes, and then every other eighth note, like this. You have to keep that Montuno going. It's very important that the right hand remains consistent with that. Now, the left hand is a little bit more complicated to add to the right, and this is really going to be something if you can get these two together. And the reason why I wrote out the sheet music is because I think it's a little bit easier to line up the notes, and then eventually, once you line up the notes and practice it a bit, the feel kind of steps in, and then you can do it fairly consistently. So it is going to take a little bit of practice. So the bass line moves between 1 and 5 with passing notes to get from one chord to the next. You can see that the bass line is 1 and 2 and, so the and falls on the half of the second beat and then on 4. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And that's pretty consistent throughout. The only difference is you don't play 1 on the next bar because it's tied from the 4 into the 1. So if we were to play those 4 bars while counting, it would be like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get the idea. So if we were to play the drum part along with that, the bass line would sound like this. And honestly, just playing that bass line with the syncopation on the and 2 and on 4 and then carrying it over to the next bar. This is very unusual for jazz pianists to do this, but it's definitely something that can help you with your rhythm. Now, the next step to this is, of course, putting the two together, the right hand and the left hand, which is really the most complicated part. So the reason, like I said, I decided to write it out is because you can start to line things up here. So you can see that the bass line lines up these two notes here. So just practicing that over and over again, making sure that the A flat and the G natural are lining up. And then what happens in the right hand is it continues on the ands. So what you've got is the and of 3. So this is 3 and then 4 and, while the bass is on 4, so there's nothing there. So it's right hand, then alternate the left hand, like that. So the whole bar is, try that over and over again. Okay? So the whole line, once you understand that rhythm and you know where to subdivide the beats, the whole line sounds like this. Now I can tell you that is not the easiest thing to do, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. And if you end up doing it, it's pretty impressive. So let's play that along with the drum track. Pretty cool, right? Now again, you can hear all of the syncopation in there. It's just really getting those two hands together is not the easiest thing. And that's why I'm going to share the sheet music with you momentarily. All right, let's take a look at the second line here, because all we're doing is, like we did in the first Montuno video, we're just starting to arpeggiate the upper notes like this. We're now going to add the tumbao, or the bass line, to that. And you can clearly see now where things line up. You don't have to play where there's no notes, because there's always eighth notes in the right hand for the most part. So these notes line up. So if you did it slowly, it would be... You see that? The E flat and the D happened at the same time. So... Very cool. So again, it's a good idea to just go through there and start lining things up. That one happens where nothing's in the right hand. So does this one. And then this last one lines up on the E flat again. So let's play it with the drum track and see what that sounds like. Okay, so that's basically how to get the tumbao and the montuno together. It's really all about lining up those beats, keeping that bass note on 1, the and of 2, and then on 4 in each bar. So I'm going to share the sheet music with you momentarily. Let me go to the piano and give you a sense of how a solo piano player would approach a montuno using it over a jazz standard. I'm going to play Softly as in a Morning Sunrise and see how that works, because it's also in C minor. All right, thanks very much for listening to that salsa version of Softly as in a Morning Sunrise. Obviously, I was taking some creative liberties with my improvisations. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is post a link to the sheet music that we talked about in this tutorial. It includes the 8 bars of Montunos with Tumbao that we put together in the tutorial. Go ahead and download. That's absolutely free. And if you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. That would be awesome. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, all you have to do is hit the little bell when you subscribe, and we'll be notifying you of all of the upcoming videos that we're making. And by the way, while you're over at jazzmental.com downloading the sheet music, check out some of the other backing tracks and tutorials and sheet music that we have over there. Everything designed to be as helpful as possible in helping you become a better jazz piano player. Thanks so much for your time. I will see you in the next video.